Trevor the traction engine was enjoying his life on Edward's branch line. Summer had arrived, and Trevor was busy at the vicarage orchard. He always gave the children their rides. He loved it and was never bored of it. He was an old engine, but was never discouraged. Any work that would come his way, he'd do it.
It's always nice to have work,
He declared to Edward one day.
What would I be without you, Edward? Oh, stop it,
Said Edward.
that was months ago. I haven't forgotten it.
Trevor expressed cheerily.
I'm better off having my axles moving than being stuck in that shed. Oh, believe me, I know,
Replied Edward. Boko rolled in with the goods train. Good morning, Edward. Oh, hello. He saw Trevor. He had never met the traction engine before. You're out of your shed today.
I'm glad to be. I'm Trevor. Who are you?
I'm Boko. Pleased to meet you, Trevor. The diesel smiled cheerfully.
Likewise. China clay trucks. They haven't been cooperated, I hope.
Asked Edward knowingly. This time, they did. Boko chuckled. A bit of teasing, but nothing serious.
China clay. Bill and Ben.
Wondered Trevor.
You haven't met them. Would it be wrong for me to?
Asked Trevor, confused.
Oh no.
Edward sighed.
It's just that they're... What's the word? It's not that they're unkind.
Oh no, they're good-hearted, Boko noted. It's just that she confessed those two.
Infest is an understatement. They're played. That sounds a bit much. Sound like a reasonable pair.
Trevor commented. Well, just take our advice. Be careful around them. But Trevor had his hopes up. He thought the two engines were being unfair. But they would be right. Bill and Ben were busy at work and as cheeky as ever. The twins had a train of China clay trucks to take down the line. The manager told Ben which line of trucks they had to take. But not Bill. Ben called over to Bill. Oi! What's he doing? Train's on that line. What line? This one? No, that one. All right, said Bill, puffing down onto the trucks. Ben puffed down to the trucks beside him. It's not that line, it's this line, he told them cheekily. Well, it's not easy to tell which line you're referring to, you. Oh, be careful with your words, Bill. You be careful. You're the one whose instructions are unclear. They made their way down the line with their trucks. The trucks were old and their couplings were worn and brittle. The twins didn't have that on their minds, as they were arguing. If you can't use your words properly, why would you speak at all? Said Bill. It's not my fault. You can't see where I'm gesturing. Oh, I'm sorry, Ben. It's a bit hard to see where you're gesturing considering your buffers are the only appendages you have. Are you blind? Are you deaf? Or are you senile? You know we take the trucks for trying to climb them, right? The twins stopped at a level crossing. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're getting old. Oh, believe me, Ben, I'm not getting old, said Bill. There, in front of Bill, was Trevor. He was heading back to the orchard with his empty cart. If I was old, I'd be moving as slow as that, he expressed. Trevor overheard him.
I'm sorry. I can only go so quick.
Oh, well, don't take this the wrong way. Or would you mind hurrying up? Barked Bill, indignantly.
Trevor tried moving faster. It wasn't as fast as Bill hoped. Trevor finally crossed over, then saw him and felt a little sorry for him.
You know, Bill, he may be old, but you're no better. You're impatient. And you're deaf. I'm not old! Bill snarled. Who even is that?
That, said Edward, is Trevor,
He's quite an old engine, isn't he?
said Bill.
And you would know, Bill. Shut up, then!
Old, broke in Edward, but reliable. Whatever preconceptions, or misconceptions, honestly, that you have of him, I would not fancy him,
Yeah, but fancy you, Edward, being the one to save him.
said Bill. You two really are adorable, you know that.
You didn't mean that as an insult. See what I mean when I said be careful with your words? But you know I didn't mean that cheekily. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I didn't. Did you?
The two thundered on in their argument. A storm had brewed, and it had come to the island. The rain poured down. The twins had to take back the old China clay trucks. The couplings to row,
These old trucks will be rusted off their hinges at this rate.
said Ben. The twins were approaching the vicarage orchard.
Oh, I could think of something older, and it's not me. I didn't say anything. Oh, good. You can keep it that way.
Poor Trevor had to come back to the shed. Jem Cole perked up. Cheer up, old boy. But there's no work I can do in the rain, Trevor declared sadly. No, there isn't. But I can guarantee that you'll have a lot of work for tomorrow. And that made Trevor feel better. That night, the rain poured down onto his shed. But Trevor was calm, and this made him even calmer. He closed his eyes, and he soon fell asleep. But the twins were not calm. The rain poured down onto their shed. They were miserable, and this made them even more so. They closed their eyes, but they couldn't fall asleep. The old China clay trucks were outside, sprawled in the siding, in the rain. Next morning, the twins were cranky and groggy. They had only winks of sleep, and even then, they could not find the time to rest,
And here I was thinking that rates made me sleep easier.
said Bill,
Oh yeah, you would.
retorted Ben. They made their way out of the China clay works. The rain had made the ground wet, and the rails slippery, and the humidity made it all worse. The twins bickered relentlessly.
Who was the one who kept on complaining? Keeping me awake? You were the one complaining. I was complaining that you were complaining. Yeah, you would. You always have to make any situation worse, being that you're just... Don't you say it. I said don't!
Bill jerked the train back, and the old couple snapped. The old China clay trucks careened back down the hill. Bill and Ben were horrified. They tried reversing, but their wheels slipped on a bad part of the line. Their shock turned to anger.
Oh, now look what you've done!
Barked Ben.
You were the one who provoked me!
Yapped Bill.
You didn't need to bump me!
Ben snarled back. The two squawked at each other loudly, not caring about anyone else. Edward was just passing by. Oh, good grief. Enough! Bill and Ben, your manager does not need you two arguing like this.
Yes, Edward. Yes, Edward.
They said sheepishly. Honestly, agreed their drivers. If you two weren't so careless, then the coupling to the trucks when it broke in. You need to go back for them, advised Edward.
But we can't,
Said Ben.
the rails are slippery.
Added Bill. We can't just leave their trucks there, the driver declared. Then, I have an idea, said Edward. Trevor, said Jim Cole. Oh, we've got ourselves a big job. We do? Yes, we do. Come on. The moment that Jim Cole opened the regulator to Trevor, the traction engine was off. Whoa, boy. We're in no hurry, he laughed. I know, but a job's a job, said Trevor, excited. What is the job, anyway? A line of old China clay trucks broke off, and are now stuck at the bottom of the line. Oh dear,
To be reasonable, Edward.
retorted Bill. I am, declared Edward. He is as much of a worker as you two, and less of a complainer.
But he's old.
Expressed Ben. And reliable, Edward added. I should hope this intolerance doesn't last. I'd say immaturity, but I am talking with you two after all. There they are. There they were, sprawled on the line. Jim Cole was ready to work. Trevor was having second thoughts. The manager came up to them. I appreciate the help, but are you sure you can handle this? I'll do my best, sir. As the coupling had snapped, Trevor had to be attached to the train by rope. Are you ready? Said the manager. Ready as I'll ever be, Trevor replied. We'll do it, old boy, Jim Cole encouraged. With a mighty heave, Trevor began pulling the train. The first wagon pulled the second. The second pulled the third, the fourth, and the traction engine chuffed on. Jim Cole was patting him on the cap. Don't you worry, boy. We've got ourselves a good pace going. Keep it up. Trevor didn't need the encouragement. He puffed and chucked as hard as ever he could. The bridge came into view, as well as Bill and Ben. They looked in astonishment. Oh, began Ben.
That's reliable.
Finished Bill. The twins looked on. And then Bill had an idea.
Come on, then. Hey? We gotta give him some help. Come on. All right, all right.
Trevor continued on until he felt the train slack.
Easy, Ben. It's just to help him.
Declared Bill.
Oh, no.
Ben replied.
Take that left.
Bill called to Trevor. Trevor turned left. The buffers came into view. Slowly but surely, had been delivered.
Well done, old boy,
Bellowed Jem Cole. Bill and Ben's whistle came in chorus, and Trevor never felt more relieved. He had been detached from the train and turned around. Bill and Ben wanted to give their appreciation,
We're really sorry that we thought of you as old and derelict.
said Bill.
Edward was right. You are very reliable.
Ben continued,
I should think so too.
said their manager.
I expect better care from you two on behalf of those trucks. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Thank you for your help, Trevor. Perhaps you could come help us from time to time,
Yeah, you could be a China Clay traction engine.
declared Bill. No, thank you, replied Trevor. You young engines can have that. That's a burly job for me,
Just a suggestion.
said Ben. Trevor smiled, and he began his journey home. Jem Cole parked Trevor in his shed. Then he told him, "Say, old boy, how about a day off tomorrow?" "No, that'll never do. A job is a job. Just don't have me do that again," he declared. And as he closed his eyes, he fell right to sleep.